I am moderating our weekly webinar for the Boxwood Alliance. The Boxwood Alliance is a nonprofit organization run all by volunteers, of which I am currently one. We assist people, seniors and their families, in accessing community resources and information in the Lower Hudson Valley. We're really like a clearinghouse for information of all sorts for things pertaining to aging loved ones and their caregivers. So each week we do, or each month we do our webinar, the last Thursday of the month. And today we have Joanne Reilly. And she is going to do a presentation called Dressing Your Home for Success. And we're going to do a 20-minute presentation and then have a Q&A. And then after that, we will end the webinar and it will be posted eventually on our website for all time. So I'm going to hand over the reins to Joanne, and I'm going to mute myself and take myself off video and let you go ahead and do your thing, Joanne. So thank you for joining us.
Thank you. I appreciate it. Okay, let me give you my screen here. I just want to review and go over about dressing your home for success. As you know, we're in a very prestigious market right now, so it's really important to make sure that your home, is definitely saleable and ready. Of course, it's a very overwhelming process, so just join me in learning how to minimize some of the stress. So pretty much the getting ready stage is, basically walking around your home and just really taking a deep look at it. You can get a pre-home inspection if you choose to. Some sellers opt to do that, but here are some different tips for you. Fix dripping faucets. Make sure you check the shower heads, the outside spigots, and closely pay any attention to any water in the basement. That's a huge showstopper and an issue, of course, when it comes to both showings and for the inspection. Be sure all of your appliances are in working order. If something is not in working order, make sure you disclose it to the agent so there's no issues when it comes to the contract. I would definitely make sure that the furnace and the AC has been serviced recently, and it's helpful if the tag is on the hot water furnace, on the furnace, just to show the buyers when they come in or the inspector that this has been maintained. It's really important. Any buckled carpets, of course. Having hardwood floors exposed is much more appealing to the buyer, but if you have any buckled carpets, that's could be a tripping hazard or just makes the rug look tired and worn. I suggest having that fixed. Any pet and smoke odors, that's really a big one. As soon as they walk in the home, they definitely smell the pet, maybe sometimes from a wet dog. Just try to be mindful to, make sure that the house is definitely aired out. The biggest tip that a realtor can give you is curb appeal. First impressions, it's very important. You will have a lot of drive-bys. Sometimes even in the neighborhood, if they see you getting your home ready, they might have a friend or a family member who's interested in purchasing the home. Curb appeal is definitely something inviting. Even if you're putting your home on in the winter, try to bring some color on the outside. I know it's hard with the flowers, but make sure that, of course, all the snow is cleared at all times and the ice, just to prevent anybody from having any falls. Even if you have a deck and if it's snowing, make sure if you can maybe just shovel a path or the stairs, because a lot of times people would like to go out, the buyers want to go out and look at the view from the deck. If it's in the spring or summer, reseal a worn or stained driveway. That's always makes it look fresh, gives it a fresh look. Trimming the landscaping and lawn. I guess a lot of times sellers don't realize that on their pathway they have overgrown bushes, and when a showing happens, a realtor comes with at least 2 other people, sometimes 3. And it gets very tight, so they want to make sure that that you have it trimmed and scaled back so there's no encroaching there. Clean out your attic and your basement. and furnace rooms. Pretty much when it comes to the furnace and by the electrical panel, the buyers always like to look around there. So make sure that there's some space for them to navigate around. Basement stairs, basement stairs cleared. Make sure that there's clutter off the floor. A lot of stairs, sometimes in older homes, the stairs are very tight and it's hard to get down there. So I know some people have used that for storage. So just make sure that there's a clear path there and it's well lit to get down to the basement. Sorry. Okay, documents. Make sure that you locate as much as you can. Important to get your deed. If you have a survey, is very helpful. Most often what I do is I like to make a copy of the survey and keep it in the home. So when the buyers come, they know exactly the property lines, because sometimes it is definitely pretty confusing if it's not marked out. Any certificate of occupancies that you have. We come across a situation a lot of times where sellers say, well, I bought the home that way. The bathroom was there and, that's the way I bought it. Today, a lot of the municipalities and banks require the C of Os on all the rooms or anything that you've done, whether it be you're putting in a fireplace or, a wood burning stove, you need to get a CO on anything. It has to be all up to date. So that's really important. Appraisal, if you have an appraisal already done, which most people don't, and you don't need it to be done, you don't necessarily need that, but if you have that, maybe that would be helpful for some information, depending on how old the appraisal is. HOA documents. It is definitely very important to have the prospectus at hand, which is the house rules that from when you purchase the home that you need in order for the attorneys to give it to the buyer's attorney. You also would need the last 2 years financial statements so the buyer's attorney can review that and just to see the condition of the stability of the condo or co-op. And sometimes it's meeting minutes is helpful, or any information, or if there's an assessment on the home, on the property, when is that going to end? All the details on any of that is very helpful, including your the maintenance charges as well. If water's included in your maintenance, or if it isn't, any information is helpful. Receipts for capital improvements. If you make a list of any capital improvement that you've done and the year thereabouts when you did it, that's definitely very helpful to help even price the home. So where the agent is aware of how to price it. Utility bills. Although every family lives different, and with the heating, and the air conditioning, most often a buyer is in and wants to inquire about what the heating bills costs are associated with the home. So to have some of that, maybe the yearly gas or oil charges is helpful as well. Any manuals and warranties that you have, that's also anything pertaining to the house, if you had a drainage system put in or any receipts of anything like that, it's definitely helpful. Really important to start preparing, get your maintenance records. We've run across a lot of sellers who've been in the home for a long time and just, said, well, we did that 4 years ago, and then it turns out to be 7 years ago. So that makes a big difference if you could kind of make a list and know when the repairs were made is definitely a big help on something like that. And it helps with the pricing as well. Helpful ideas. If you're going to be downsizing and you're not sure, what the space that you're going to be living in, it's a little harder to do this, but you should identify the furniture that you want to take and keep. This way you're already prepared to, maybe you can start to clear out the home, because less is always more. To have less clutter in the home, make sure, like I said before, especially near the front door, in the hallway, because remember, there's going to be at least 3 to 4 people who are there together. So make sure there's no tables. Sometimes we find that there's little end tables that are in the way, and or bags on the floor. It's just harder, makes it harder for people to navigate around. So having the furniture that you know that you want to keep and take, maybe you can start to, there's big wall unit you're not going to be able to take, maybe just start to think about how you would donate it or sell it, or if your family member wants it. Helpful to clean out some closets so they could see the space that's allotted in the home, especially if it's an older home and the closets are small. It's good for them to see, you know, how deep the closets are. If it's a spring or summer and you can clean the windows and it's not very cold out, that's really nice, to have the clean windows. Again, that goes along with the curb appeal. Replace older missing light bulbs. I had a listing one time, they had in the hallway only one light bulb lit. And the feedback that I received a lot was that it was very dark in the home. And it would just happen to be that the buyers were going at a later in the day. And when they got to the hallways and the bedrooms, for them, it made it feel very dark. So, and it happened to be just a change of a light bulb. So that was important. Always do personalized photos and certifications. Why? Because the buyers get caught up in that. They start, instead of looking at the home, they're looking at, you know, their family pictures, or I have sold with that the people grew up with them and they were looking at their family, their kids, and they got sidetracked. By the time we left the house, I said, how did you like that living room with the beautiful fireplace? They said, we didn't even remember it had a fireplace. So it gives more focus on the home as opposed to the family, your family pictures. As I mentioned before, you can hire an inspector for a pre-inspection to learn about any issues. Then they check everything. They check the plumbing, the electrical. You can have a radon test in the basement if you like to know if there's radon there, depending if your home is built near a lot of rock. The roof, they pretty much go through everything. All the appliances they'll check. So when you receive an offer, you have a better understanding that if something comes back, of course, every inspection is not the same, but if something comes back, you're able to talk to say, okay, we had it inspected and that didn't come up. And you would able to then go back to your inspector and then have a little more clear understanding of what the issue is. So it definitely helps for part of your negotiating. Clear countertops in kitchens and bathrooms. Again, we want to make more space to show, you know, not a lot of buyers have, they don't have a good vision for space. So helping them visualize this is a great feature. Recaulk tubs and sinks. If you have a lot of black caulking around, definitely just take it out and recaulk. It makes it look like a much cleaner feel. Have the fireplace chimney cleaned. And again, keeping the receipt of that is very helpful. Stage the furniture facing, always try to make this furniture face the fireplace. Changes the dynamics of the room, makes it feel like it's a more warm and fuzzy feeling. And it just gives a center focus of the fireplace and to show what, that's of course, it's great to have a fireplace. So it's definitely something that you can embrace on to capture some of the memories that they would have there as you did as well. Bringing in the light. So natural light is something every buyer wants. We always make sure that if you have any curtains on the windows, of course, not always to remove them, make sure the blinds are open, the curtains are pulled back. You can remove them if you choose to, but definitely light is really important today to the buyer's eye. So keep them open during the showings. Or if sometimes you can even pull them up, that's helpful, especially if you have a beautiful view or you want to show off the nice backyard. It always makes the room appear larger. So that's really important. So the important things to look for in a realtor, make sure that you hire somebody who is knowledgeable of the area. It's important to understand the logistics of the town, where the parks are, schools, the highways, of course, some restaurants, it's, some of it, a lot of it train station, because you can use more than one train station. So that's really important because not only you're selling their home, but you're selling the area as well. Make sure that they're experienced with the type of home, whether it be a multifamily, a condo or a co-op. There's a different process for each type of home. Of course, like I say, the co-op, you have to go in front of a board and make sure that the buyer is approved. And there's different criterias for down payments for the co-op. So it's important to make sure that the realtor is familiar with that. Knowledge of the current trends in the market, to understand how to price it. Of course, we're in a very aggressive market, and it's depending on how you want to price it, having the realtor know about if you want a bidding war or not, or what the activity is going on around your home. That's super important. Ask if they have any awards and designations. Get a seasoned agent, someone who is definitely well-versed and can diverse all the different issues that come up, because not one sale is the same as the other. Check out their reviews. Make sure that they definitely have some positive reviews online. That's helpful. Ask for the history of past sales to make sure that they have sold in that area, and how many sales have they sold, homes that they've sold. Remember, you're entrusting a realtor with one of the biggest assets you have. So you have to make sure that the person you're hiring is going to get the most money for you, and that they're going to, you're all working toward the same common goal, and that they're doing the right thing for you. Marketing plan exposure. Ask, what kind of exposure you're going to give me? What kind of website exposure, or am I getting brochures, mailings? There's a lot of different types of marketing, of course, with social media and boosting. So make sure that you ask about the marketing plan. They should be knowledgeable of the mortgage type. This is really important. There's different loan products when you receive an offer. So to know that there is a conventional loan is a much easier process for the bank appraisal, as opposed to getting a VA mortgage, and as opposed to getting an FHA mortgage. So that is very much very helpful in the process to make sure that the agent's familiar with that. It's helpful if you have an agent who has a network of resources from movers, attorneys, title companies, underground oil tanks, septic. I mean, there's a lot of different areas where, if you have somebody who's got a list of people, it's a great recommendation. Is helpful. It smooths the process and takes a lot of stress off of you. Make sure you get communication through the process. That is key. I can't tell you how many homes I show and I get to the lockbox isn't working, and you try to get in and the agent's just MIA. So make sure that you have communication to understand what the feedback is from the buyer's agent, to make sure that to see, is your home overpriced? How do they like it? So just to understand a little bit more about what's going on, and have a follow-up plan. When do make it? Ask, how often will I hear from you, and what can I expect from you? So again, this is a team effort, so you want to make sure that you're all working to the same common goal. So what's important to sell a home today? Obviously, technology. That's the first showing of how people are going to see your home is online. It's not like years ago when we used to go out with the books and we would like with the big phone books showing homes. So that's important to make sure that you have professional photos, because that's what they're really going to see first showing in. Social media exposure, like I say, that's local social media is really important. Web exposures, a company like ours, we use over 700 websites. So you ask how many websites, what type of websites, you know, are going to get my home, will my home be exposed on. Online advertising, again, we do boosting. So when your home goes on and they online, and you have certain buyers that are looking in your area and your price range, that your home will get boosted, which is another avenue to market the home. A neighborhood reach, again, that's all about mailing. And years ago, we used to do door knocking, but that's all about the mailing. And be able to sell remotely. Obviously, when we were in COVID, that's the only way we sold homes, but we still got a lot of people that want to do, you know, do a remote showing if they're from the city and they can't get here, or from relocation, they can't get here. The agents can go in and do a FaceTime with them to just show the home, so they're not missing out on it, because it would go to get offers quickly. Property tours, of course, is really important, just to see some, and we have videos that we put on, promote on, even on Sunday at, on TV. So that's very helpful. And again, the professional photography. So the photos, so try to arrange it on a sunny day. I know my photographer will put some blue skies in there if it's not sunny, but you know, we do it within reason. We don't make them look too fake. Have all the lights on in your home. Remove any items on the bathroom counters. Remove the cars from the driveway. If the pool is open, or the deck, or you have outside furniture, kind of stage it so it kind of gives a vision of what the outside can look like. So that's the first impression of the home on the internet, and it's really important to make sure it's done professionally. So I have finished my my presentation. If you have any questions, I'd be happy to answer them.
Thank you so much. That was really awesome. And as somebody who is just in the process of selling my mother's house, I wish I'd known a month ago, but it's okay.
Right.
It's all good. It's all good.
Right.
That was really super helpful. I have one comment from Amy that says this was incredibly practical, useful, and all around great advice. Thank you for your expertise, Joanne. Okay, so I'm not seeing any questions, which means you did such a great job that nobody has any questions for you.
I appreciate it, and I appreciate you giving me the time to do this.
Absolutely. Thank you so much. And everybody, if you want to grab the information from the screen chat, but again, this will all be posted probably within a week or so. Sometimes it takes a week to 2 weeks to get it onto our website, but it'll be posted if you want to share it with, or, you know, let anybody else you know that might be interested in viewing this information to have it. And Joanne, we really want to thank you for coming on today and supporting the Boxwood and doing this presentation.
I appreciate it. Thank you so much.
Okay, everybody, have a great evening. Thank you so much.
You too. Bye-bye.